Hello friends. Today is the follow-up video from the one a couple of weeks ago. Developmental editors, what they do, where I found mine, where I actually talk about the experience because I've received my feedback now. I haven't looked at it, but we'll talk about the process first and then we'll take a look through what his comments were. So the process was incredibly straightforward and professional. I uploaded my files to Reedsy, not sponsored, again. And a week later, he uploaded his files with comments in the margins. And he might, again, I haven't looked at it, so I don't know, but presumably he's augmented some of the prose with track changes turned on in Word. Although he uses ODT, which is open text document or something like that. But he also sent a docx file, so that's fine. We're covered. So there was no back and forth. He didn't ask me for clarification. I didn't ask him how it was going. I just sent it off and waited. There was one little message he sent where he had a family thing that came up, but he ended up delivering exactly on time, so no issues there. I don't know if I said it yet, but I feel like crap today. My brain is mush. I'm having some sort of mental issue at the moment where I have no mental energy. I have barely any physical energy. I can't even really breathe, and some of that might be because I knew I was going to be smoking stuff today on the smoker, and I ended up having to cut a bunch of wood, and I neglected to put on the mask for the first half of it, and so I'm probably just drowning in my own fluids at the moment. So if you don't see any more videos from me, it's because I died. Sorry. We're not overly uplifting today. I apologize. I'll try to get some more energy for future videos. If you want to see energy, go watch the creative synthesis video that I did. Not too many people watch that, but lots of energy in there and probably the most useful information that I've put out so far on overcoming blocks of imagination. Okay, so it ended up costing exactly what I said in the previous video. It was a little over 3,000 Canadian, 3,100 or something, I think, which was great. The editor was completely professional, and I have no complaints as far as the process. Again, I haven't seen the notes. One other thing I wanted to mention, I didn't really have this information when I made the other video, but if $3,000 Canadian seems like a ridiculous amount to you, this guy was very qualified, 27 years of experience, so he was a little bit up there. There are other people on Reedsy that may not charge as much. I don't know because I didn't query them. Also, someone I came across recently, it's either No Nonsense or Nonsense Free. I think it's No Nonsense. No Nonsense editor on YouTube. I've watched a few of her videos recently, and she seems to cater towards the self-published, and I think her prices are a tiny bit lower. So she understands the struggle. You might want to check her out. Again, there's Alyssa Matesic, who we just didn't match on this project, but I'm sure she's a wonderful editor. I actually looked her up on Reedsy, and all of her reviews are tremendous. So Alyssa's a great choice. Also, Brielle writes. She does sort of halfway between critique partner and developmental editor, and charges a little bit less because of that. I haven't used any of those people, so I can't vouch for them, but their services exist, and the price is what the price is. So caveat emptor, but look into it if you're trying to save a little bit. Okay, so the first thing I got back from the dev editor was a message on Reedsy saying that he'd uploaded the files. But it was a really nice message, so I'll read some of it to you, maybe all of it, blur out, whatever. But it might just have been buttering me up in case the notes are ridiculously harsh. I've attached my final edit as ODT and docx files to this message. I edited the work in ODT, so that's the native format, but if that won't open for you, the docx definitely should. My track changes and margin comments should be fairly self-explanatory, but if you have any questions, please do let me know. I had so much fun with this, Ian. It's a cozy little murder mystery, but set in space. Very cool. The fact that you managed to keep it cozy, despite the cold, harsh setting, is testament to the charming characters and solid writing. The pace, setting, and characters were all highly engaging, especially since you opted for a dialogue-heavy narrative, which I adored. Really makes the action and narrative rocket along nicely. Some funny bits here and there too, which landed perfectly, and which I pointed out when I ran across them. I reread your brief and was reminded that you have plans for a bunch more of these. Well, if you follow through on those plans, please consider signing me up for the other 29. I'd love to work on them. Oh, and not to throw a spanner into the works, but I'm sort of partial to the original title of Miles Away. It feels like it works better with the lighthearted nature of the story. Confined Space could be the title of any sci-fi book, but after reading the novel, Miles Away strikes me as being clever without being too on the nose. I mean, if the book was darker in content, it wouldn't work at all, but as it stands now, I do think the original title is stronger. Not a huge deal either way, just something to think about. Anyway, I hope you're pleased with the work, and if so, if you wouldn't mind leaving me a review here on the Reezy system, I'd much appreciate it, since it's the main way I attract new clients. Smiley face, cheers. So, that was a very nice message, saying that he had so much fun with it and loved the characters. I'm not overly thrilled with changing the title back, because one of my thoughts was that each book would have the word space in it. Like the second book might be called Space to Grow, and it takes place on the farm band. And then the next book might be called White Space, and then there's space bars, and there's tons of stuff. Maybe that's cheesy as hell. Or maybe it will help the novel stick in people's brains. You know, I want that space novel by Ian Henderson. Anyway. Right. I should have actually said this at the beginning. Since doing the month-anniversary video, where I had 10 subscribers at that point, we now have 21. It's amazing. I appreciate everyone who has subscribed. There's more than twice as many now. It's incredible. I know it's not the thousands and thousands that other people celebrate, but I celebrate every single subscriber because I'm a crazy old man doing ridiculous, unhinged... Thank you for that word, Alyssa. Ridiculous, unhinged stuff, and I'm not necessarily at your point in life. Again, I don't know who's subscribed to me. I don't get the messages for the people with the people's names. But chances are you're younger than I am. And I really appreciate it because I know you want to hear from peers. You want to see people struggling. You want to see the cozy, this is me in life and like writer's lifestyle videos. And I'm just some guy sitting here smoking, at the moment, it's acorn squash with some butter and cinnamon. It'd be quite nice. um, so I really do appreciate it because I know there are other options, and the majority of them would be your peers. We've got Canada geese flying overhead. Be safe for the winter. We'll see you again in a bit. Love Canada geese. Okay. I've been avoiding this forever. I got this. Today is Sunday. It's 2:06 p.m. Technically, I got this feedback Friday at midnight. I haven't opened it. Maybe his opening message, again, was just to butter me up. Let's open it. I mean, I could open the ODT in Word. Let's just open the docx. See what happens. All right, we're back. I had to put a little more wood on the fire. Took a little break. So I'm scrolling through, and we may do a sort of time-lapsey thing, but Chapter 1, this is where I am, editing Ian. Flushing left, first sentence of new chapter, switching M dashes. There's some capitalization stuff that's been changed. So I have Chapter 2, Colis de Saint-Cyboire de Tabarnak. That's French swearing. There's a glossary at the beginning of the book for the French swear words, and he says normally this would be in italics as a foreign language, but since you have the translations at the start, I'm going to leave it alone. And he has a 100 sign, which, you know, he's cooler than I am. I don't really know what that means, but, you know, thumbs up. Periods and commas go inside quotation marks. Well, yeah, clearly I don't know what the hell I'm doing with dialogue things. I try to nuke unnecessary that's whenever possible to sharpen up the prose. Cool. So he's ditched a bunch of that's. Oh, Christ. Okay, so my 0900 spelled 0900, he has changed to 0900 the words for the time, which might tick him off because that happens everywhere. We'll see. Numerals generally shouldn't start a sentence. Well, that's... I mean, in a way, tough luck, because that's dialogue. But, yeah, I guess people would speak the dialogue, 0900, instead of with actual numerals. Fair enough. That indicates a section break. Yeah, I know. Okay, so the email thing... I wanted a space in there, and for some reason, Scrivener made it a total section break, so the email wasn't really formatted within the novel correctly. No, you're wrong on that, but that's okay. Well, you might be right on that part. Okay, so whatever. There's a give and take here. I'm unsure how to picture this. We're on page, editing Ian, page 39. Marcy gave an up and down four-fingered wave. It should probably be four-fingered, not four-finger. And ended the call. I just had a bug hit me in the face while I was trying to do that. That's good. Anyway. I don't know how else to describe it. I'm sorry you're having trouble picturing it. I mean, I could either remove it or leave it. I don't know. Again, okay, you know what? F this. All his comments are fine so far. I have not gone through them all, and I don't plan to in this video. So close. If I come across any in later on, I'll add them in editing. So the feedback has been very constructive. Things I wouldn't have thought of, some structural issues, not with the story so far that I've gone through, but capitalization, where to start a paragraph at the beginning of a novel, stuff like that. Times when he had difficulty visualizing something I was describing, so I can go in there and augment those descriptions or eliminate them or just leave them as is. I don't have to incorporate everything. I think overall, this has been a very positive experience. Maybe you could achieve the same things with critique partners or other editors. I don't know. This is the direction I went, and I am satisfied with the results. And that's how I do things in life. If I'm satisfied with the results, I continue to do that. So chances are I will be going back to this person for the other 29 books I plan on writing. I don't have $90,000 just this second. So we could maybe get through the next 2 books together. I'll spend a little bit of time. Again, I don't know if the comments get harsher as the document goes on, but all the feedback so far was constructive. I'll spend a few weeks going through that. Perhaps not now. Perhaps now I work on plotting of book 2 and the actual writing of book 2 next month. I think it's fair to say that my intuition on how to write a story is valid. I might not get every little technical thing correct in the structuring, and I might have to explain a little bit more because it's sci-fi. I mean, you got these crazy things sometimes that you're trying to put in there, and you have to explain them, but without info dumping. So there were no comments like that I saw, that I was like info dumping or whatever. My book is very dialogue heavy, and I have people explain things via dialogue. And that's why you have to have a fool, so that you have someone to explain things to. That's where Zach comes in. So, if you're planning on self-publishing, or even if you plan on traditionally publishing, and you want a set of professional eyes on your document to make it the strongest it can possibly be, definitely consider a developmental editor. I thoroughly enjoyed the experience. A little bit nerve-wracking while he had it, but it's just the way. I mean, having professionals read your work is always going to be nerve-wracking. I appreciate your time. Hopefully this video wasn't too long, because I actually legitimately appreciate your time. You have other channels to watch. Some of them have shorter, punchier videos. I'm a bit long-winded, so I do appreciate your time. Thank you for watching. If you want to subscribe and like, you know what? Pause the video and like it. I'll wait. Aren't you great? We'll see you next time. I'm not sure. I think we're doing haunted house, trying to write in a haunted house for the next video. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe if you like. Thanks very much. Goodbye.